Our objective for today, I can solve and graph quadratic equations by completing the square. Let's read together. 1, 2, 3. Can you read that, please, Nate?
I can solve and graph quadratic equations by completing the square.
That is correct. So we've been solving quadratic equations. Let's see. We solved them the other day just by graphing. Remember we did the table? Then we graphed a lot of them, and then we saw that, and we said, we answered the question, what is the solution to quadratic functions? We said that it was the x-intercept. That was the first lesson, right? From there we went into solving quadratic equations by factoring. You guys remember that? And we did that 2 days ago. And we left a couple of home plays, and you guys did a lot of practice. Good. So now there's a third method, which is completing the square. First, before we get started with the process, I want to make sure that you understand what completing the square means. So please, write your utensils down. I'm going to show you really quick, using some manipulatives, completing the square. So we have this and that. Tell your neighbor what I have in front of me, please. That is correct. So I have x squared plus 2x. So far so good? And when we did introduction to factoring, remember that I asked you guys to get these into a rectangle. Is that correct? But this time it's called completing the square. It's not called completing the rectangle. So which means that I'm going to have to make a square with what I'm given. So check this out. To make it into a square, what do we know about squares? That they have same measurements for each side, right? So check this out. Which means I need to split this up. I can't have this longer than this side. So I need to bring this one down. And it's almost a square. What is it missing? A 1. So that means if I bring one of these in here, does that look like a square? Yeah, so what did I need to complete that? We needed a plus 1. So far so good? Alright, so now check this out. That's what we call completing the square. So let's say I gave you that. Tell your neighbor what we have so far. Okay, so then it's x squared plus 4x. Once again, am I making a rectangle? No, I'm making a what? Square. So here we go. I'm going to make a square, which means I need to evenly distribute these, 2 on each side. There it is. And what am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4. So then I have to write plus 4. Are we there so far? That's what we call completing the square. So check this out. Next, what if I gave you that? Oh, sorry, I'm missing it over here. Here it is. Everyone, what do we have? X squared plus 6x. So if I evenly distribute these, I put 3 on this side and 3 on this side. Yes? And what is it that I need to complete the square? Plus 9. So, let me show you here for those of you that don't see it. There's 3 of these this way, 3 of these this way, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We good? Alright. Now check this out. Now I'm going to take away all the tiles. And I'm going to focus on just doing it with algebra. Because there's a pattern to this, like everything, right? Check this out. X squared plus, okay. X squared plus 8x. Tell your neighbor what we need to complete the square. Answer if you have it. Okay, Jerry? Plus 16. That is correct. Let's do another one. X squared plus 10x. Tell your neighbor what we need to complete that. Hands if you got that. Okay. Roman, Carlos? Plus 25. Next one. X squared plus 12x. So remember what we need to complete that. Plus 36. That is correct. Now, before we continue, explain to your neighbor how we're getting these numbers, because some are still kind of like not there yet. So. All right. Let's see. Who can elaborate for us? How do we get that number to complete the square? Maria. Divide what by 2? The middle, the coefficient of the middle term. Okay, so Maria's saying the coefficient of the middle term divided by 2, and then multiply by its same number. How do we call that? Squared. Let's see. 4 divided by 2 squared. What is 4 divided by 2? 2 squared is 6 divided by 2 squared, that is 8 divided by 2 squared, that is 10 divided by 2 squared, that is 12 divided by 2 is squared, that is. Okay, on your paper, copy this down. Not that, copy this next one down. Example Q. Example Q. X squared plus 18x. Complete the square, please. All right, say with your neighbor, see what you got. Everyone? Plus 81. We got this, yes? All right. Example super Q. X squared plus give me a number. Okay, 24. X. On 3, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Plus 144. Okay. Here goes the challenge one. Example mega Q. A x squared plus b x. This is not a number, it's a letter B. Complete the square. Let's see how you do with that. Keep it to yourself. Think it through. Think about the pattern that Maria was showing us up here. Follow it through and fill it in here. See what you get. Okay? Share with your neighbor, see what they got. Let's see who saw it. Hands if you got it. Let's see, Roman, Carlos, what did you get? Not quite. Paulina. B you're close, over 2 squared. That is correct. Okay, what have we been doing to be nice, What have we been doing to the coefficient of the middle term? Divided by 2 and square it. Divide by 2, 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 and square it. Just following the process. Everybody follow it? This is what we call completing the square. So we were saying how comfortable you are with completing the square so far up to right there. Okay? Now we're going to apply it now to quadratic equations. So with that said, on your Cornell notes, you don't need the Fair model. We already know what they are, quadratic equations. We just need to copy 6 simple steps. Copy these, please. Step 1, set the quadratic equation in standard form. Step 2, divide the entire equation by the leading coefficient. Step 3, eliminate the constant. Step 4, add b over 2 squared to each side of the equation. Step 5, factor. Step 6, take the square root, write 2 equations, and solve. Copy that, and I'll go over an example so that you guys can see it, and then we'll talk it over. Now, as you were copying these steps, writing everything down, some of you maybe didn't read them, you were just writing it down. But let me read them, and each step should now make sense, and you would understand what each term is talking about. Let me see. Here we go. Step 1 says, set the quadratic equation in standard form. Does everybody understand what that means? From highest to lowest degree. Is that correct? All right. Step 2, divide the entire equation by the leading coefficient. If it's in standard form, that means that the number that multiplies the x squared, or the leading coefficient, that's the leading coefficient, you're going to divide the entire equation by that. Does that make sense? So far so good, okay? Step 3, eliminate the constant. Do you guys know what the constant is? Does everybody know what the constant is in an equation? Tell your neighbor, please. Stephanie, go. Yeah, hey. It is the number without any variable. That's the constant. Number 4, add b over 2 squared. Does everybody know what that means? Okay, here it goes again. Does everybody know what that is? It's completing the square. Very good. Do we know how to factor? Do we know how to take a square root? Do we know how to write 2 equations and solve? Yes, all right. So, with that said, in the back of your page, you need more space, so copy that. Example 1. Solve by completing the square. Check your answer. X squared minus 6x minus 16 equals 0. Just copy it, and then I'm going to go over this. And then let me finish the entire thing, and I'll have you take notes from there. Okay, writing utensils down, look up to the screen. Once again, I'm going to go over this step by step, but I want you guys to stay with me because there's some things that you need to think through to make sure you understand. Writing utensils down. You'll finish copying in a little bit, Brian. Ready? Here we go. Look up to the screen. I left the steps here so that you can see how the process goes one step at a time. Let's see. Step 1 says, set the quadratic equation in standard form. Look at it. Is it in standard form? Yes. Okay. Check. Step 2, divide the entire equation by the leading coefficient. Since it's in standard form, what is my leading coefficient here? 1. It's the number multiplying the variable, so I need to divide by 1. And I end up with x squared minus 6x minus 16 equal to 0. Some of you might be thinking, Mr. Q, if I end up with the same thing, why do I need to do the step? Because I want you to build muscle memory. I want you to be thinking that step. Because what if there was a 2 here? What would you do? Divide by 2. You understand? Step 3, eliminate a constant. What is my constant? Negative 16. What do I need to do? Add 16, add 16. We're left with x squared minus 6x space equal 16. Why did I leave that space? Because the next step is called what? Completing the square. I need to complete a square right here. Therefore, to complete the square, I need to add b over 2 squared. What is b? Negative 6. So I add negative 6 over 2 squared to each side. Negative 6 over 2 squared. Before I go to factor, I'm going to simplify. Check this out. X squared minus 6x. Negative 3 divided by 2. I'm sorry. Negative 6 divided by 2 is 3. Negative 3 squared. That's positive 9. So on this side is 16 plus 9. Can I simplify this side? Yes. It's 25 equals, and I bring everything else down. Okay. Next. Look up, please. I'm going to factor. Pay attention to this part. I'm not going to use the Power Rangers. Why? Because this is a perfect square. Didn't we just complete the square? Yes? If this is a perfect square, we can use the pattern that we learned, yes? So, turn to your neighbor, let them know what the factors are of this. Here, in case you don't see it, let me cover this up. Alright, who's got it? Kelsey. X minus 3 squared equal to 25. That is correct. You're just paying attention. So, by now you should know why we got this, yes? Okay, because you guys watched the video, you took notes, did home play, very good. Alright. For those of you watching it online that you haven't watched the other lesson, here it goes. Take the square root of the first, square root of the last, middle term, squared, equal to 25. From there, step 6, take the square root. Why do I need to take the square root? Because I need to leave x by itself, so I need to start by getting rid of the squared. What is the inverse of a squared? Square root. That cancels that. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. This cancels this. We're left with x minus 3 equals, check this out, plus minus 5. You're saying, what? Positive 5 times positive 5 is? Negative 5 times negative 5 is? That's why we write plus minus 5. Are we there so far? Okay, next. Write two equations and solve. Before I write two equations, I'm going to solve first for x, to leave it by itself. What do I do here? Add 3, x equals 3 plus minus 5. Now I can write two equations. Equation number 1, 3 plus 5, and that is equal to 8. How about my second one? 3 minus 5 equals negative 2. Those are my solutions. X-intercept, root 0. Copy that, please. You're like, what? I know, right? It's cool. How are you like? So yeah, copy that, please, and then we'll go over another one together. Go. Now, if we were to graph this, what are my roots? Negative 2 and 8. Negative 2, 8. What is my y-intercept? Negative 16. something like that. Yes? Okay. Example 2. Copy this down, please. Example 2a. X squared minus 4a minus 12 equals 0. X squared minus 4x minus 12 equals 0. Alright? Step 1. Set in standard form. Is it in standard form? Yes. Step 2. Divide the entire equation by the leading coefficient. Do that, please. So you should have divided by what? 1, and you're left with x squared minus 4x minus 12 equals 0. Step 3. Eliminate the constant. Do that step, please. Okay, you should have added 12 to each side, and you wrote x squared minus 4x, left an empty space, equal to 12. Hands if you got that. Okay, good. Step 4. Add b over 2 squared. So this is where we're going to complete the square. Do that step here, and then do the next step when you simplify. Go. Okay, let's see. You should have added parentheses negative 4 over 2 squared to each side. Negative 4 over 2 squared. Hands if you did that. Then we simplify that and we write x squared minus 4x plus negative 2 divided by 2, negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2 squared, that's positive 4 equals to 12 plus 4. Can we simplify the right side? Yes, 16 equals x squared minus 4x plus 4. Step 5, factor. Do we need the Power Rangers here? No, because it's a perfect square, so we can give you the factors for that. X minus 2 squared equals to 15. Next, last step, take the square root. Why do we need to take the square root? To cancel the squares. So square root of this, square root of this. What do we have left? X minus 2 equals plus minus 4. Don't forget the plus minus. See if you can finish off the last 2 steps there. I'm going to solve for x. Add 2, x equals 2 plus minus 4. Then we write our 2 equations. X sub 1 is 2 plus 4, which is 6. And x sub 2 is 2 minus 4, which is negative 2. These are my solutions. X-intercept, 0, and root. Hands if you got that. Okay, good. And we know how to check, yes? We know how to graph. Last one. Copy this. Example 3. X squared minus 4x minus 6 equals 0. And I guess we'll stop right there. Home plate for tonight is on page 593 only. Once again, there is tutoring. It's free. Enjoy your home plate. If I don't see you guys tomorrow. Bye.